Ambassador Ryan Crocker joins us again. He's the former U.S. ambassador to Iraq, Pakistan, Syria, and Kuwait, among other countries, and he's now the dean at the George Bush School of Government and Public Service at Texas A&M University. Ambassador, thank you again for joining us. Hans just outlined some options for the president. What would you advise President Obama to do now?
Hi, Betty. It's good to be with you again. Look, in the speech yesterday, President Mubarak clearly set his course. I said when I was on your show last week that the Mubarak era is over.
Yes.
It is over, but he is setting the terms on which it's going to end, and it is going to end, in his view, with him in office up until September. I think we have to work with that. And hope it does work. He laid out a number of other points in that speech. Transfer of power to the vice president, a series of constitutional and political reforms. I think we've got to hold him to that, work with him on that, but recognize that Egypt is a sovereign country. He is the ruler of Egypt, and he clearly would not have made that speech if he didn't have the army behind him. So, you know, it may not have been the speech we were looking for. It's the speech we've got. And I think to try to create a different future by saying he's got to go would be very dangerous indeed. It would empower the street. The street is not a democracy. And as we've just heard, a lot of people are listening to what the White House is going to say in the next day or so.
Right.
Not just in the Arab world, our traditional allies in the Arabian Peninsula, but the Israelis too. And you've probably seen the Israelis have been very, very quiet.
Yes.
They're concerned. They do not want to see instability. They do not want to see a process move forward that is out of control and that could threaten the peace treaty.
Right.
Neither do we. We just need to stay steady on this.
Ambassador, though, what should President Obama say in the next day or two that could in any way influence the outcome in Egypt?
I think there are two messages that we want to convey. First, that we heard the president of Egypt speak very clearly on several points, that he is not going to be a candidate for re-election in September. So transition is underway. Second, that he is entertaining a number of constitutional reforms. Third, that he is passing power to his vice president. This is all part of an orderly transition. That's one part of the message. I think another part of the message has to be directed toward the opposition. They want democracy, but at heart, I think they also want order. So they need to behave accordingly.
Okay.
Some leaders of the opposition have called for the army to be the guarantor of this transition.
Right.
Well, that's exactly what this is. President Mubarak would not have made the speech without the army behind him.
And I want to just pick up, Ambassador, I want to pick up on that last point, though, because some are questioning about the backing of the military. If this turns violent, do you believe President Mubarak will still have the backing of the army?
Betty, it's a great point. This may not be a revolution yet. It's a proto-revolution. Anything could happen. It's a highly turbulent, uncertain situation.
Okay.
Depending on developments, the army could move one way or the other. We're all riding a tiger here. Let's just hope we can stay on its back through the September elections.